guys. Let me see if I can get Instagram going. I think I cannot. Bummer. Well, welcome. Let me see if there's anything I can do. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to leave it at that. That's okay. Hello. Welcome to our weekly Facebook Live show. I'm Jen Burson. I'm the founder and president of Generation PR. We are about to celebrate our 19th year in business. Is that even possible? I guess it's crazy, but it is. Just going through the motions here okay. So yeah, crazy. Hi guys. Hi, I see you. Okay, good. Was having a little bit of an issue seeing if I was live and whatnot. What is happening here? Okay. Wow, I'm just a hot mess today. Nice to see you again, Serena. Welcome. Happy New Year. I haven't done my Facebook Live since the start of the new year. We took the holidays off and we took last week off because a lot of people weren't working. So hopefully that was you and you got to have a little bit of a break, recharge, refresh, re-energize, all the things so that you're feeling like yourself again and that you're feeling ready to go and tackle the year. In my family, we're not setting resolutions per se, but we are focused on a review of last year, what worked, what would we like to accomplish this year, and breaking down the steps on a sort of quarterly and then monthly basis to make that happen. And it's not so much like resolution-y type things, but what we arrived on is more about experiences, connection, having a deeper connection with our kids, having more fun. We asked them what they want to experience in our family, and they both said more fun, more games, more experiences. So we love that, and we're all focused on that. And that's how we're kicking off the year. The normal stuff that you do at the start of the year. So I'm excited about this chat today because I can hardly believe this, but hi, Nicola. Nice to see you. Happy New Year. I'm going to start the audio over because this is a big deal episode. So we're so excited to share with you in celebration of the release of our 100th podcast, Pitching Powerhouse. We are sharing 20 pieces of advice from you, the members of our community, and what I've experienced in my life and my career. I love being a mentor to other PR pros, and I'm so proud of this incredible community that we have built together. And every single day, our amazing community members, the people that are here in our group, post advice or asking for help on challenges that they're facing in their agencies. And the really cool thing about our community is that we all pitch in to help them. So we've had some really incredible and valuable discussions over the years. So we also reached out to our community members to hear their best pieces of PR advice or entrepreneurial advice that they've gotten over the years. And these PR pros come from all walks of life, all niches, all over the world. We have many international people that are part of our amazing community, and they are also members of our program. So you know that they're committed to supporting all PR pros. So I have compiled advice from our community and the career tips that I wish that I had known when I started my business. So we are going to dive into the 16 pieces of PR advice that have impacted our community the most, plus 4 career tips that I'm sharing with you that I wish I knew at the start of my career. So I'm going to give credit where credit is due and attribute back to the original member who said this revelation or shared their advice. So we are starting with Katie Sinclair, and the PR advice that she shared is authenticity always resonates the most. It might repel some people along the way, but more importantly, it attracts the right clients and the right team members to your business. And I could not agree more, Katie. It's interesting. Many years back, I wrote an article on LinkedIn that went viral. And viral on LinkedIn is like hundreds of thousands of views and clicks and 6,000 comments. Really cool to have my work shared far and wide. But the story was called "I'm a Mom, Sorry, I'm Not Sorry." And it tied back to this, especially that I had a friend that asked me, you're really out there with the fact that you're a mom. Don't you worry that potential clients are going to see that as a negative, that you're busy or distracted, or that they're not the top focus because you're focused on your kids? And my response was, sorry, I'm not sorry. This is genuinely who I am. And if clients have a problem with that, they're not for me and I'm not for them. And exactly like Katie said, when you are yourself, you put yourself out there, yeah, the right clients are going to find you, and you might repel some people, but it's going to be a magnet to attract what you need and what you want in your business, because you're being your authentic self. And it's like people can take it or leave it. And if they leave it, they're not for you. So I love that, Katie. Thanks for sharing. Next up is Ashley. Ashley Martinez said, take the time to build relationship. The work is more fun, and you're more likely to secure wins for clients when you have a meaningful relationship with the media and other stakeholders. And I love this. I love Ashley's perspective on this too, about the fact that it's more fun. I've never really mentioned that in the terms of making relationships, building relationships. It's always about, in the advice that we share, about a better opportunity to add value to their readers, to add value to your clients. So niche down, get to know the key players in your field. But she's right. It just makes work more fun. It's almost like you're choosing your coworkers. You're choosing the people that you get to interact with. And so you make these connections. You kind of connect on a personal and a deeper level, and you make it more about this relationship that is give and take and supportive and adding value both ways. And then you're kind of pitching your friends. You're having a good time leveraging these connections that you've made that feel more personal. So I love that perspective of adding the fun, and it's all about building those relationships. We recommend going on social media, sharing articles, tagging the key players in your industry, offering up resources that aren't even your client, just really showing an appreciation for their work, and they do notice. So thank you, Ashley. I could not agree more with that. Great piece of advice. And for anybody that is joining live today, oh, you can't hear? Can everybody hear me? I'm assuming I would have heard. So for anybody that's joining me live today, I would love to hear your advice. Anything that resonates, give me a thumbs up or a heart, or anything that you're experiencing, everything that you're experiencing personally that has benefited you in some way, or something that you maybe found out the hard way that you would like to share with us so we can avoid those pitfalls. Please share. This is all about, sharing that collaboration, the things that will make us all better, right? And that's what this is all about too. So next up, I have Jen Flanagan, and she said, PR skills are transferable to so many different industries and career opportunities. Also, PR varies from industry to industry. So keep going if your first niche isn't the best fit for you. And I would like to add to what Jen said about PR skills being transferable. Most of you probably know I started my career as an attorney, and I was a civil litigator. And I get asked a lot. Like even last night, I met our neighbors for happy hour, and the husband said, "So, how did you go from law to PR? It just seems so out of left field." And it really isn't. It's the skills that make you a great storyteller, make you a compelling, um, make compelling arguments. You take the same set of facts, the details, the information available to you, and you position it in a way to best communicate the outcome that you want. That's what litigation is. It's not like on TV where there's the smoking gun and everybody's like, aha, you didn't know about this document. In litigation, there's discovery, and both sides request documents. And when you're very thorough in discovery, everyone has access to all the same stuff. You get to depose people. You have the questions you've asked. You're just taking all those facts, and you're pulling it together in a way where you're positioning your story, your argument to be the most compelling. So either a judge sides with you, a jury, a mediator, an arbitrator, anybody would side with you to see that your positioning and telling of the facts is the best version of it. And that's what PR is. It's the same thing. It's taking everything about your client's business, all of their products, their founder story, ingredients or services or features and benefits, all the things that can help set them apart from others in the market, or get a journalist to see that the story that you put together is the most interesting way to take all of these facts and kind of fit your client into it. So I love Jen's telling of PR skills being transferable, and just to keep going. So if you hit a niche and you don't love it, I started doing fashion PR, did not love it. I don't love tracking samples. I don't love dealing with sizes and seasons. Fashion also had like a weird, they were always behind from customers on payment. And so we were always getting paid late. And I don't like that. I want to know that I'm getting paid and the work we're doing is appreciated right off the bat. I did not, and the budgets were a little lower. So I didn't love fashion PR. But what we were focused on in terms of honing our skills translated to our other niches, which are baby and kids, beauty and cosmetics, and lifestyle. So keep at it, like Jen says. Couldn't agree more. And next up, I have Morgan Canslini Mitchell. And she said, the biggest lesson I've learned in my career in PR is that it's okay to get a no. Couldn't agree with that any more than because if you don't ask, you're not going to get a yes. But especially nowadays, she says, there are so many media options and opportunities for clients. I used to dread hearing no, but that's 100% part of the job. It's just about how you can pivot and adapt to get your client the most coverage in spaces that make sense. Outlets that your clients want to be featured in may not make the most sense for them in terms of sales. Being clear about that is key. So clients don't always know where their ideal targets are. We had members of our Powerhouse Plus coaching community yesterday say that they secured multiple features for their client in Forbes. And the client was like, we're not getting any sales from it. And that's not really what Forbes is for. You're not really connecting with your target audience in Forbes. That's more of a kind of feather in your cap business wise. And it's not all, and the client really wanted it to be in Forbes. So it's not always that they know best. And it's not always that the publications that they want to be in are the right fit. And to focus back on what Morgan said, you cannot get the yes unless you ask. And you have to keep in mind the worst thing they can say is no, but they're not going to say yes unless you ask. So no or no response becomes a very key part of what it is that we do. You have to get comfortable with that. I just was listening. Who was I listening to? Oh, I was listening to a podcast recently with the founders of the Home Edit and Clea and Joanna, and they had on Marla Sokoloff, who is like a person that I know in my world, and she was talking, she's an actress and she's also a director, and she was just talking about being an actor, and hearing no is just part of the job, and it does get exhausting, but it's part of what you have to get comfortable with if you want to be an actor. You could go multiple auditions a day or a week and hear no on all of them. And it doesn't mean that you're not great. It doesn't mean that you're not beautiful or, a good actor. It just means you're not right for that particular part. And what she said was every single role she went out for that was ultimately cast that she didn't get, she said, oh yeah, that person is a better fit. So she was like, yeah, I can see that these casting directors, they know what they're doing. And that's what we tell ourselves with editors, that they are looking for something very specific. You never know. It could be your affiliate program. It could be your commission payout. It could be something you just don't even, it has nothing to do with your client's product or your relationships. It's just a very specific thing that they are looking for. So you never know. Just keep at it and try, because if you don't try, you don't get a yes. And the worst they can say is no. Hannah Bjorndal said, building relationships is the best marketing strategy, and it takes time, effort, and genuine care for others to achieve this. She stressed genuine, and I will stress it too. It's very transparent if you're just in it for yourself. If you're trying to build relationships by asking before you give, by asking to take before you give. That's why it takes a while to build connections, deepen relationships before you ever go for the ask. Because then you know exactly what they're looking for, and you can offer up something that meets their needs. So focus on building those genuine relationships. Natasha Dressler, we love Natasha. Are you here? She said, you need to have an amazing contract that outlines everything imaginable, including the payment schedule, late fees, behavioral clauses, termination clauses, and national and local laws. And then she says, Jen's contract is the best, with 4 exclamation points. And just to kind of give you a link there, it is inside of our Agency Accelerator. It's a resource that we share as part of the program, and we walk through why we include certain things. But that contract is based on now my 19 years of experience, things that have come up in my business that we want to protect against. We want to protect you against these possibilities. That's what contracts are. It's just, if this happens, you're protected. If that happens, here's the outcome. If this thing is breached, this is the steps that will be taken. Who is that says Jen's contract is the best? Because it's someone coming through. And then I'm assuming it's the same person above that said, thanks, Jen. Definitely learned the hard way not to discuss the potential media coverage that you can land for a client. The client had that number in their head and never forgave me. Oh, that's Amy. Less than 100% learned. Kelly. Oh, hi, Kelly. Kelly, hi. Okay. Yeah. So you can't mention specifically, like, don't pin me down to a number, because it's out of our control. We don't know. We just don't know. And if a client pushes you for that, you have to push back, because you cannot commit to a certain guaranteed number of placements. And you also are not responsible for sharing your media contacts. That's in our contract. That's proprietary. That's confidential. It's intellectual property. And just because a client retains you, they don't get to see your media lists. Okay. That was a surprise to someone on our call yesterday. And we were like, no. Like, do not, share that, because they'll just take it and cut you out of the mix. They'll give it to some intern and think they can do it themselves. So no. But if you're interested in our contract, it is just one of the very many resources we offer in Agency Accelerator. And we just get you buttoned up right out of the gate. Are you guys liking this? Are you feeling like it's resonating with you? Give me a thumbs up, heart, something to let me know that you are connecting with some of these pieces of advice. Next up, Andrea Holland, and she said, being an honest, transparent human goes a long way. In a world of external reputation management, client management and media management, it's sometimes easy to get carried away with overpromising and people pleasing. And Andrea says, I've learned that always being authentic, even when the news is not favorable or the stakes are high, has helped clients and media gain trust in me and work with me again. That is fantastic advice. And I think that we have seen some companies handle things very poorly, and they're not transparent. They are not authentic. They don't own up and take responsibility. They don't give a plan for how they're going to handle certain situations. And not only do the consumer or the media very much dislike that, but consumers note it and they say, like, we don't want to align ourselves with that company anymore because our values don't align. Um, you know, telling people what they want to hear is not the best course of action. You want to be honest. You want to be open and transparent because that honesty builds trust, even if it's not what the client wants to hear, even if it's not, what the media wants to hear. Like, you might have offered up a sample and the client doesn't really have access to those, and you have to go back to the journalist. You have to be honest about it. I mean, there are people that I have seen say, oh, it got lost in UPS land. And it's like, did it really? UPS can track a package and tell you literally what corner of the truck it is sitting on. If you try to blame it on UPS, that only goes so far. And I know somebody that did that for many, many, many months, and it came back to bite them in the butt. They just weren't sending the things that were being asked of them. And it was very problematic. And I haven't seen it since then, but it was a problem. So be open and honest. If things change, own it, take ownership, and that trust will help you build those relationships. Sarah Mason said, teaching clients about the media is critical to managing expectations. Two reality checks that come up often are that journalists don't need to correct something that is not factually inaccurate, and that the links are not always included in the stories. Or I would add that the links are not always going to be what your client wants to link to. They're going to link to, let's say, an affiliate opportunity that's going to generate more revenue. Maybe the client wants them to link to their website, but they're going to link to Amazon. Maybe they don't link at all. We will have clients that say, can you ask them to include this link? And it's like, no. And to build on what Sarah said, the only things that you can go back to a journalist and ask them to change is something that is incorrect. If it is factually inaccurate. So that could be the price, it could be a certain detail about a product, it could be the size, it could be the spelling of the name or the position of the person. But if you provided that information that was inaccurate to begin with, that's going to come back to bite you in the butt as well. So make sure before you pitch the media, you have complete comprehensive information and everything in the pitch is accurate and also final. So if your client is going to change the price of something after the fact and you've already pitched it for that price, that is going to come back as a poor reflection on you. And just know these days we haven't had the ability like we used to fact check before stories go live. So when clients ask you to change something, they want to correct it, you have to tell them that that is just not possible. You are not going to risk your relationship because we as PR pros, we know better. So make sure that clients understand how media works and that they're not able to just be like, can you just change that for me? The answer is no, unless it's a mistake. And Nikki Taylor said, the biggest lesson I've learned is to never burn bridges with previous clients. Oh my God, am I shocked at how many people do this. Just because in that season they did not want to renew their contract with you doesn't mean they're dissatisfied with your work. Sometimes businesses just aren't ready yet for the exposure that PR will bring them. Be patient, respect their decision, and don't burn that bridge. I did this, and now I've had a previous PR client return to me for my services. And I highly recommend not burning bridges, always seeking to end on a positive note if it's possible. So we've had clients that will have time left on their contract. And if it's just not going well, we'll let them move on without having to stick with the last 2 months. Like, we can tell that the media is just not, the story's not resonating, the products aren't resonating, they don't have their ducks in a row. We will say, let's pause, and when you're ready to come back, we're here for you. And the other key is that clients move on. I have had my very best clients, my highest retainers, my $1 billion clients have all come from relationships with past clients that have moved on to different companies. I have one that is now co-CEO of Savage by Fenty. She was a former client at a beauty company, and from that person, I got so much work. And it was a bummer when we didn't get to work with each other anymore. And I didn't let it get me down in terms of them feeling that we weren't doing a great job. I just focused on parting ways in the most favorable way possible so that they could go off into the world and have a positive experience about working with our company. And that has paid off in leads and referrals, and and then possibly I've had clients that have gone on to other things and come back. I'm not working with Fenty or Savage in any way other than a collaboration for a client, but you just never know, and it's also just stressful when you're like, ugh, forget that person, and you harbor this grudge that doesn't benefit anybody. So love that advice, Nikki. That is so smart, and I couldn't stress that anymore. Just have team members. The other thing, when I said I can't believe how many people do this, how many people that have worked for me that have just burned that bridge. And it's shocking to me too, because through this community, I have access to, we have like probably 35,000 people between our email list, our communities, social media. Actually, social media following is more because I have multiple accounts and all that. For those people to not say, wow, this is a potential source of leads and referrals. I just am shocked that people would be so willing to burn a bridge that could potentially help build their business. I've had a lot of shocking things happen in the last almost 19 years. So the next up is Kaylee Sheerant, and she said, rejection is not fatal. It sucks, but it's part of the game. There's plenty I can do to minimize my chances of being rejected. But sometimes even the most amazing product and the most thoughtful and well-planned pitch just isn't what they're looking for. And that's okay. And I want to expand on this a bit too. You're not, like I said, you're not going to get the yes unless you ask. And the worst you can do is get the no. And sure, rejection sucks, but reaching out and going for that yes is the most important part. And just to remind you, if you really want to hone your pitching skills and give yourself that best chance of landing press placements, we recommend the Pitch Lab. You're going to get monthly execution plans. You're going to get monthly execution plans. You are going to get PR advice and timely, relevant, targeted story topics. I see you guys. Hi, Nelson. Hi, Nicole. If you don't ask for the yes, you're never going to get it. And Nicole, I'll answer your question at the end. Actually, you know what I'm going to say to you, Nicole? We have an amazing resource. Are you in our Lead to Landed program? It's super inexpensive. So I'm not like recommending something to you that's expensive, but this is so good. And we have had people get awesome clients through this program. It's called Lead to Landed. It's like super, super inexpensive, but really, really good and worth your time. So that's what I'm going to recommend to you who ask, how do you attract new clients as a startup PR agency? It's been a struggle. Go through Lead to Landed. And Nicola said, yes, loved Lead to Landed. it's worth it. It's like 47. I mean, it's nothing. It might be $97. It's really, really good. How much is it? Let me see. $47. Oh my God. Like, that's a no-brainer. You should sign up and get it. It's very, very good. I'll give you everything you need. We used to sell it for like $500, but now we're just like, Um, the Agency Accelerator, it is open, actually. It is open, I think. Let me see. Oh, it's on a wait list. If you're interested in joining, just hit up Miranda. I don't know where the link is. Did I send that? Yeah. Reach out to Miranda at that email address because we can get you in. It's technically it's open. I just don't know where the link is. Okay. And it's so good. Like so good. Who asked, by the way, because I can't see your name. All right. Back to Brandy Sims here. She said, one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that relationships must be at the core of everything you do. Have you noticed a theme here? We've had at least 4 pieces of advice so far about relationships. Pitch Lab and Agency Accelerator are 2 totally different things. Pitch Lab is all about the service of pitching, ideas for pitching. How do you connect with the media? Agency Accelerator is like your business in a box. How do you find clients? How do you put together proposals? How do you sell? Oh, so weird. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I can't see you. But yeah, totally different. If you're looking to learn more about the difference, I'll just GAE. Oh, hi, Barbara. Nice to meet you. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Okay, here. And also hit up Miranda at that email and she'll tell you, she will give you all of the like, oh wait, no, sorry, I put the wrong link there. Hold on. You can see here, Barbara, or anyone else, the different programs. So scroll down, look at the Pitch Lab, and then open another window with actually the Agency Accelerator. Reach out to Miranda. She'll give you information and a link to look at it. But welcome, and they're both excellent. And we have most people are in both. To be really honest with you, I would say most people in Agency Accelerator are also in the Pitch Lab. Agency Accelerator is a bigger investment, so more people are in the Pitch Lab, but you can come and go in the Pitch Lab as you see fit. Okay, I want to give Brandy her due here with this excellent advice. But Brandy Sims said, one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that relationships must be at the core of everything you do to have a successful career in PR. It's not just about image or expertise, it's about connections. Coming from the corporate space, it can be a challenge to build relationships beyond the accepted transactional style. By allowing myself to truly represent who I am in building connections, I've opened the door for more thoughtful connections and valuable relationships. Themes here you're seeing: relationships, authenticity, connection, adding value. Core lessons that will benefit you no matter where you are. If you're Nelson and you've been in PR since the 90s, or me, 19 years, or somebody just starting out, those are the fundamentals. They are not going anywhere. Lindsay Walker said, the biggest lesson I've learned since I started my career in PR is longevity requires transparency and the ability to pivot. You can't get caught up in what was working or what used to get clients and placements. You must stay ahead of the curve, pay attention to trends, and be honest about where you are and where you want to be. And I think a lot of people run around panicked like Chicken Little. The sky is falling. Oh, okay. So Nelson, let me clarify. I've been in PR since 82. A lot of you probably weren't even born in 82. I was, but, and he went out on his own in 99. I think I was looking at when you went on your own. Nelson's here to stay. He's not going anywhere. And I'm sure he would agree with authenticity, building relationships, all of those fundamentals. But I know, like building on what Lindsay said, when something new comes out, people are like, the sky is falling, media is dying, our careers are obsolete. And media folding, the launch of digital, the launch of social media, and now with AI, this is what everybody is saying. And yes, things change. Like Lindsay's saying, you have to stay on top of things and try to evolve as the industry evolves. And that's why we're here. That is what we are presenting to you, are the things that we need to know about. We have to incorporate into our businesses. It's a lot, it's definitely a lot. When I raised my hand and I said, I want to support this community as much as I possibly can, that meant I was committing to staying on top of all of these trends, things that evolve, helping us navigate that, helping our clients, helping you help your clients navigate that. So it's a lot. But I will say, by you being here, by you being in our programs, by you connecting with other members of the Powerhouse Pros community, you're already ahead of the game. You're already staying on top of the trends. Great advice, Lindsay. Chrissy, are you here? Chrissy Bernal said, the biggest lesson I've learned is to remember you're interacting with a human. Whether it's a celebrity, a producer, or a journalist, they're people just like we are. An influencer, a big CEO of a big company, they're people just like we are. And I would say back in the day, with editors, I would put them on a pedestal. I always wanted to be a beauty publicist since I was not a beauty publicist, a beauty editor since I was a little kid. I loved beauty and cosmetics. I would go in my mom's beauty cabinet and take the blue La Femme eyeshadow and smear it all over. And I'm like, aren't I great? And my mom's like, what have you done? I still have my teen magazines. I still have my 17 magazines from when I was a kid. I think somewhere in my house, my childhood, somewhere, because I think my parents, well, they turned my bedroom into a closet. They sealed up the door and poked a hole through, cut a door through their bathroom to make my small bedroom a very large closet. But I know that there is a box somewhere in that house of all of my teen and 17 magazines. And I loved it. And I looked at those beauty editors like they were gods. And when I first started, I was fearful of connecting because I put them on a pedestal. I didn't view them as people. I viewed them as these, all powerful gatekeepers that could make or break my career. And it meant that I was overthinking pitches. It meant that I wasn't interacting in my own genuine way because I was a little bit on edge and fearful of saying the wrong thing or, stepping out of my role and, as the lowly publicist and not praising to the editorial gods. Give me a thumbs up if you've ever felt that way pitching the media. What I have come to realize is that they're putting out work into the world. They want people to respect it and appreciate it. When you connect with their work and you show them that, they really appreciate that. They really appreciate that. Celebrities, I think it's I live in LA. There's celebrities all over the place. My kids' best friends' parents are, celebrities that have a lot of very famous people over. When I go pick my son up from play dates and I'm like, hi, person's like, hi, I'm so-and-so. And I'm like, hi, I'm Jen. It's like, of course I know who you are. But just people. And they have insecurities, they have hopes and dreams and fears, just like all of us. And just be yourself. And like Chrissy says, interact like they're people, just like we are. And it brings down that level of fear and that sort of distance that you might present yourself that's not actually there. So really good advice, Chrissy. And I see her too gaining so much confidence in her abilities and her willingness to go after a higher rate and to build a team. And I think that this advice leans into that as well, that she is building these relationships and views herself as someone that's on the level. And we're seeing that really translate into the massive growth of her business. Is that you? You're here? You're here? Hi. Hi, Chrissy. Okay, love it. Hi, Lola. I know my dog wants to go on a WALK, but it's so windy here and I'm freezing and I don't really want to take her. So she's just like sitting on the floor next to me. Hi. Awesome. Okay. Thank you for sharing your advice, Chrissy. Really good. Damia Doggett said, by far, the biggest lessons I've learned in my public relations journey is to pivot. And I think we can all picture Ross on the stairs and friends yelling, pivot. PR, it's an ever-changing industry. And if you're not on top of trends, new service offerings, and industry standards, you will get lost. Pivoting has helped my business stay afloat over the past 6 years of being an entrepreneur. Well, Damia, congratulations on 6 years of running your own business. That's a huge accomplishment. I'm so glad that you're feeling that success, and absolutely pivoting is a huge part of what will keep us ahead of the competition, keep us the best service providers to our clients, because we're helping them navigate the changes, the things that are happening in our industry. And we want you to stay ahead of all of these different changes and things that you'll need to pivot in your business. So we put together our 2024 PR trend report. We have put together a trend report the past few years. This is one of our most popular things that people download. If you haven't gotten it, I just dropped the link there, but that will help you also. We sort of do our research and anticipate what is going to be hot. So we put this out before the end of the year, but this is what we are projecting for 2024 trends. Grab it there. No cost, of course. Monica Romero said, following up is critical. Media hits rarely land over one email. Follow up and storm the castle, meaning email, phone, text, or whatever way you have of reaching the editor, writer, or producer. I landed a live major TV spot for a client after 3 months of follow up. Banish the false belief that you're bugging them. Keep following up and be tenacious. It does pay off. Yes, could not agree more. Oh my God, I'm like, all of these. So I briefly looked at these a while back and I wanted to keep it fresh, like I'm rediscovering these tips with you. This one is so important because we do have that fear of being annoying and bugging them. It's all in how you pursue it. We also had Tia in our community landed a massive feature for a client that took so long and so many, yeah, it's coming, we're, blah, 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 and just pushed it off and pushed it off and pushed it off. And ultimately, this incredible, massive feature came out for her client that I think took like more than 6 months. And every time she followed up, it just seemed like the editor went radio silent. She's like, where is she? I'm like, well, she said it was a yes, so let's just keep at it. And it was so worth it. And Nelson here is saying, follow up is my middle name. In my agency, Generation PR, we probably land, I would say 95% of our coverage in the follow up. In the follow up, never the initial pitch. Barely hearing really anything. Or if you do hear something on that initial pitch, it is them asking for more information, and then they sort of go radio silent, and then you have to do that follow-up. So yeah, you might hear something on the initial pitch, and then if they sort of disappear after you've sent the follow-up information, it's not over. Like Monica said, it is critical. Follow up however you can and make that little seed of interest convert to a feature. Lisa Humphrey said, I've learned that the nature of some people in this industry is extremely selfish and that they only care about how my pitch benefits them. I've learned to adjust, but not change. I've never conformed and have stayed true to my authentic self by killing them with kindness and giving more grace than allowed. You've got to pivot and never give up. I've learned to stay focused on the prize of landing media and events for my clients, not get caught up in the smoke and mirrors, and coach them to be their very best selves. To expand on what Lisa said too, we have typically seen in our industry people being very close to the vest with their contacts and their know-how and their secret sauce. I don't know if you can hear that. It's Lola. She's like, Lola. Oh, she's so sweet. And I never liked that. I never felt like anyone had my back, like somebody was looking after me and somebody was a mentor that I could turn to, or that I had a community that felt the way I did, where I was like, whatever I know how to do, I want to help people so that they don't make the mistakes I made, or so that they can get results faster. That feeling of like selfishness, that's a scarcity mindset. It's, if I give you any advantage whatsoever, it's going to be to my detriment. And I'm so lucky that this community has all found each other. We all have that same approach of community over competition. Let's collaborate, let's help each other, let's save each other time and effort, and just make each other better. So Lisa, I couldn't agree more. I don't keep saying that, but I love that advice. And I hope that, if you can find a way to help anybody, share a resource, just know it comes back to you. And that's really good advice. Okay, now, y'all, I have 4 pieces of advice that are mine. And when I sat down to come up with these, to round out the 20, in celebration of our 100th episode of the Pitching Powerhouse podcast, I repeated a lot of what others had already said. So I tried to focus on things that were new and different. But you have heard these from me before. So the number one piece of advice when dealing with clients is to align everyone's expectations right off the bat. Make sure their expectations are aligned with not only what you expect could happen or what you're aiming for, but what is realistically possible. Getting on the same page is the key to having satisfied clients. They shouldn't be hiring you hoping that you can pull off a miracle. And if they are, that's when you have to give it to them straight. That's when you can't overpromise on the sales call and underdeliver, because it's just not realistically possible what they're looking for. So get on the same page, ensure that expectations align with what you expect is going to happen and what's realistic, and they'll be happy when those things come to fruition versus feeling like, oh, it's not enough. Like, we had a woman on our call yesterday who is crushing it for a client. I mean, the amount of top tier press she has gotten in such a short amount of time would blow your mind. And the client is like, we got to figure out how to get this thing on track. And she was like, on track? Like, we're crushing it. And the reality is the client's expectations were just totally out of whack. So get them squared away right out of the gate. And that's how you have satisfied clients. My second bit of advice, I stress this all the time. I am a huge proponent of niching down in your agency. You have to find your niche to find success. And as soon as I started leaning into being an expert in the niches that my agency focuses on, our profitability tripled. And the other side impact was that the quality and caliber of the clients was massively improved, and they sought us out. So niche down, choose an expertise or 2 or 3, hopefully some that align with the contacts you would make connections with, and people will pay more for a true expert. They will pay more. If you're going to have heart surgery, would you go to like a family practitioner? No, you go to a heart surgeon and you pay whatever it costs because you want the best outcome, right? So you want to be the go-to authority, and our profitability tripled. we were able to increase our rates because we were getting results that these higher quality and caliber clients could see themselves getting with us also. Made for great case studies that just attracted our ideal clients like a magnet. So niche down. Number 3 that I would share is imposter syndrome never really goes away. And what ends up happening is it'll resurface again every time you're leveling up. So I've come to almost appreciate those feelings, honestly, because what it shows me is that I'm growing. And you have to accept that imposter syndrome is something that you're going to probably always experience. I don't want to say struggle with, I have that written here, but I would say experience, because you are never going to feel 100% confident in everything, especially, like I said, when you triple your rates and you attract bigger clients. We've had people in our community say, I don't know that I have what it takes to do the work they're expecting of me. And it's like, yeah, you've already done it. It's just that they're paying more. They don't expect more. They expect what you've already shown them that you can do, that value that you've already shown them that you could provide. You're fearful because now you think because you're asking for a higher rate that they expect, a new client coming in expects something that you can't deliver on. But the reality is you're feeling imposter syndrome because it's something bigger that you're doing for the first time in terms of a bigger client or something new. And it'll always be in the background, but it is important to acknowledge when you feel that way as a moment of growth, as personal and professional expansion. It's a positive. So if you feel that feeling creep up, you should switch up that mindset and reframe it as something that's empowering, not discouraging, because it shows you're growing. It shows you are not being stagnant in your career and your life. You're throwing your hat in the ring for bigger opportunities. And I think that's always a positive. So I give myself a hug, way to go, Jen. That's why we always hear, the stories of Natalie Portman giving a speech at Harvard and Oprah talking about it and Maya Angelou talking with her about it. These people that are at the highest level saying they feel imposter syndrome. It's because they're doing things nobody's ever done before, that they've never done before. So just look at it like you are reaching new levels and reframe it as empowering. Sound good? Got one more for you. Okay. The last bit of advice, and this rounds out our top 20 in honor of and in celebration of our 100th episode of the Pitching Powerhouse podcast. When you know your value and you know that the results you bring will drive immense value for your clients, you can properly price your services and move completely away from an hours for dollars calculation. Clients are going to pay you based on what you show them is the value you provide. And your mindset has to shift away from how long each task will take you and instead focus on being compensated for the results you're getting and the value that you bring, which has nothing to do with the amount of time you spend working on your clients' accounts. And when I realized that and I switched to this retainer-based pricing model, my revenue increased substantially, my workload decreased, and my feelings of contentment in my business and excitement and passion for my work massively up-leveled. So you're not going to get the compensation you deserve unless you ask for it. And just focus on the value that you can bring with your PR efforts, with your relationships. And this also ties back to niching down. The more concentrated you are on your expertise, the relationships you have, the better you're able to show that client that squarely fits in that niche what you're able to potentially do for them. So those are the top 20, you guys. I would love to hear what you think. of the advice shared by our community and also the bits that I revealed that I wanted to share with you. If you're listening to this, reach out to me on Instagram, send me a DM at Generation PR, and I'd love to hear what resonated most with you. What have you personally experienced, or do you have any advice you want to share with me or other members of our community? If you send me a DM or you tag me in your Insta stories, I would love to share your advice as well. And here is, again, one of the best things that you can do to set yourself up for success is to keep your finger on the pulse of the industry. So we have our free 2024 PR trend report to learn the 11 biggest trends that'll hit the media landscape for the next year. And there's that link. We have somebody sharing all is new for me. Thank you. Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. Honestly, this advice is gold. This advice is gold. Listen to this episode again, because what all of these incredible, happens to be women that shared all of this advice is battle tested lessons that you learn being in this for a long time, that you learn sometimes the hard way. So excellent advice from members of our community. All are great. Thank you. You are so welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I will stay on another minute or so. Hit me up with any questions you have. Again, somebody who is really new to this, who's trying to reach new clients. Lead to Landed is the approach. We built that program. It is tested. It works if you follow the sort of advice and the approach we give you. That is designed to help you get your first few clients. You are welcome. Elizabeth, hi. And Nicola, hi. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. And Happy New Year. Honestly, I was feeling a little burnout at the end of the year, and I'm still coming back from it. I want it all. I want all. Yes. I love it, Barbara. Thanks for reminding me who you are there, because I still can't see your name. So that was helpful. Yeah, end of the year, burnout. I had a really challenging year for a number of reasons, but also I don't have a regular, consistent support with my kids, and their pickup times are varied, and one is staying after to do a school play and play basketball, and his pickup time is later, and so I'm like, and their schools aren't near here, and so I'm cutting my days short, and that took a toll on me, like a huge toll on me. And I've had like family stuff come up, and just a lot of things that really felt very draining, and it sort of zapped my motivation. And first of all, I let myself feel that way. I didn't feel guilty or allow myself to like beat myself up for feeling that way. I said, this is where I am right now. And if you don't have that bandwidth to super focus and be like, gung ho, I'm all about growth, and I'm all about, this is my time to really put the pedal to the metal. I was merely keeping my head above water. I'm responsible for the food in the house and for cooking, and like we were eating like garbage because I just couldn't get it all together. And I made sure that my husband knew that I was feeling this way. I made sure my best friend knew I was feeling this way. And we had conversations about it. And I gave myself some grace, or cut myself some slack, and just was like, you know what? This is the season that we're in. And I'm slowly rebuilding my focus, my passion. In order to do that, I really focus on this community, and I think about the way that we have all connected, the impact that we've all had on each other's lives and businesses. I mean, we've been doing this a long time. We have a lot of people who have been supported and made great connections that have helped their businesses, and I focus on that. What I'm setting out to do, the impact I'm aiming to have, I will focus. I keep a folder of all the feedback we have on our programs, and I'll just go through it and I'll look at it and be like, okay, it's all worth it. What we're doing is all worth it. I focus on the fact that I have clients I love that pay on time and appreciate the work that we do. The other thing I did is I changed my environment. So I don't know if you noticed, but I moved the big printer to the other side of the room because it was ugly. And I got like all my stuff sort of organized and streamlined, but the whole office is like that. And I'm, kind of minimizing. I hired a coach to help me with minimizing, with simplifying. Yeah. Nelson says it's called burnout, Jen. I felt the same way at the end of the year. And I sat in front of the TV between Christmas and New Year's and did nothing but watch movies, and it cleared my head. Yes. And also, Nelson, and I know you feel this way too, since October 7th in Israel and the atrocities and everything we're seeing, both for the Israeli people and the Palestinian people and the devastation caused by Hamas. And, Israel had no choice but to respond. But it's like there's no positive way to look at any of this. And it's devastating. And it really, really, really has weighed on me very heavily. And especially online misinformation, and just in my own neighborhood, people are doing things that are just atrocious, and it's scary. And that really kicked my ass. And it's hard to talk about, and it's very complicated, but that and all the things, right? And so yes, Nelson is right, it's burnout. And I think we're all feeling it at some point. And yeah, and that's why I'm open to sharing all of that. And Barbara said, this is great to hear. It happens to all of us, these kinds of feelings. I just joined your community. I'm learning about this group, and I admire the community that you have built. Plus COVID, oh God, lots of protests. See, I mean, it's happening on a global scale. And this is an election year here. I know most of you are not in the country here, but Nicola's in Dubai, and Nelson and Serena are in Canada, Toronto specifically. It's hard, it's draining. And so I think not trying to mask it, I think feeling like you're not alone. You're a highly sensitive person, and you're feeling what is happening in the world. Oh my God, so deeply. And like, I try to limit my intake of the news and social media because it really affects me. And it's same with everyone, but yeah, just really being open about it and realizing it happens to all of us at various times, not trying to be perfect, not trying to say everything's great all the time. Took a little bit of a step back from social media, both in what I was posting, because it felt like it didn't matter. It felt like I wasn't saying anything that was important because there were so many bigger, important things happening. COVID is over in my headspace. I don't even think about it anymore. For me, it doesn't exist. I'm living my life and not worrying about it. That's kind of how it is here too. But like, my son got sick. We don't know if he had COVID, but he has had a cough to the point where he was throwing up violently one night because he could not stop coughing. It was like the craziest thing I've ever seen as a mom. Like, why is this happening? But yeah, there's always something. I had family stuff, health wise, that seems like it's all squared away for now, but pretty scary for a period. And, I just realized that the health and happiness of my family is the most important thing. Try not to beat myself up, ask for help where possible, physically change my environment, go out for a walk, spend time with my friends that have the most positive energy. I'm trying to think what else. Eating healthier, getting the right amount of sleep, not relying on sleep aids like melatonin, listening to podcasts that are very inspiring. I got a new planner that I love. It's a full focus planner that is very goal centric. So, breaking things down in a way that feels empowering. Who said that? You are bringing light to the PR community, and when events like that come, it hit us hard. Wishing you feel great, thank you, and keep bringing your light and support to all your community. Thank you. Who said that? Very lovely. But yeah, I will always be honest, and and also the other thing too is Barbara. Thank you. I'm so glad you found us. But I also haven't been getting a lot of new business inquiries, which is very weird because we always have something coming in. I think there's something going on with our website where it hasn't been updated in a long time and the SEO is not performing like it used to. Not that we're actively using SEO to optimize the site, but we have been around so long that there's just a lot of really good SEO juice to our website. And all of a sudden, the inbound inquiries have stopped. But I look at it like I wasn't ready. I'm not ready. We're very profitable. We love our clients. And I don't know that I have the bandwidth to pursue new business. But the cool thing is that I know anytime that I am ready and that I want to, I know how to do it. Everything that's in Lead to Landed is what we do in our business when it is time to drum up new work. So it works. And I know that I have that in my back pocket when I'm ready. And I'm kind of feeling ready again. My energy in my office feels really good. It feels light. It's flowing. And kids are back in school. I think I do have somebody to help pick them up who's been pretty reliable. But, and also Nicola, she said, I lost a new client on January 2nd, landed another one last week. Thank goodness. Still a horrible start to the year. We lost a client at the end of last year. But they were so kind about it. I lost a client on January 2nd too, says Serena. Not a great way to start the year. But here's what Serena shared with us and what I know to be true is that energy is not your energy. It's not for you. That is not meant for you. That energy, like we know, and I'm going to say Serena's vibrating up here. This is coming from somebody else who has supported her in her life. And I'm repeating it, but we know we vibrate up here. When a client is down here and they're kind of sucking the life out of you, that energy is not meant for you. So it's almost, Nicola, Serena, we know it's almost a blessing when that wrong energy is released from your life. So that's what I'm focusing on, is releasing a lot of the energy that just feels very heavy, or finding ways to process it and not let it impact me so personally and deeply. And yeah, lots of laughs and hugs and fun in my house with my kids. We're playing board games again. It's just been a good change. And I got the kids bought into like what they want. They told us what they want from us, and it's more fun, more experiences. And I'm like, let's do it. Let's go. We took them to Palm Springs over, kind of on a last minute trip, and it was super fun. They were just happy to go and get away and, stay up late and play games and do cool stuff. So anyway, that's where I am. I do feel a lot better, and I'm so grateful for all of you. I feel like we have built really good connections with each other and other, you guys connecting with other members of this community. And that is a huge blessing, a huge blessing. Running my business for 19 years and having probably 15 of them, 13 of them totally alone. And now having this community, what an absolute blessing. So if you lose a client, we're here for you. Some of it also comes down to just reminding you who the F you are, right? Who the F you are. Like, who cares about that? They come and go. We know that. It hurts, yes. But you did it once and you can do it again. You got that client at that rate once and you can do it again. And that's what's so great about our community. And if you're looking for some deeper coaching and deeper support and getting your questions answered in a mastermind format, consider joining us in Powerhouse. Plus, That is the call we had yesterday. It's a phenomenal high level group. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys for being here. Happy New Year. We will all bounce back. Absolutely. It's a hard time for everyone. Just know that you're not alone. And that also helps me too. It's just, I'm not the only lone wolf here. we all got stuff. So if I can help you in any way, hit me up. If you have questions about any ways we can support you, please reach out, support@generationacademy.com. And here is to a more energized, more fulfilling, more connected 2024. Love you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.